Today's episode is brought to you by Bark Technologies. With parental control monitoring apps in the new Bark phone, Bark is the best comprehensive parental control tool for families. Listen to today's episode for more details. Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian. We are, these things, they don't always flow. We are, together as one, the Nickersons. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Not my best work on an intro, but here we are, above Public Square Coffee in downtown La Mesa in our state-of-the-art recorded studio to us. And Andy is with us, our wonderful producer. Melissa's coffee cup is wet for some reason.
It's perspiring.
Oh.
No.
Tell me why. Because if there's one thing that you and I know, it is science.
I put cold coffee in here.
You put cold coffee in a warm cup.
I broke all the rules.
Wow. Really revealing the magic tricks here, everybody.
This is how they do it.
Mine's not even coffee.
What if yours had nothing in it? That's my least favorite thing.
You like to spot that in...
It drives me nuts. I can barely watch scenes in shows and movies where they have an empty cup. And you can tell.
Yeah.
And especially a paper cup, they're like, oh, da-da-da. But there's nothing in that.
It's fake. It's all fake. When I was on Heart of the City with Kevin Hart on Comedy Central and we're drinking IPAs, those aren't IPAs, baby. You know what they are? Cream sodas.
Apple juice? Oh,
cream sodas, which is very sweet. I don't know if you've had a cream soda. I don't know where cream sodas are. Cream sodas were always
like 9 in the morning.
Cream sodas are such a throwback to soda shops. They don't. I don't think a cream soda exists because it was always like kind of the alternative to root beer.
Yeah.
Right. There was like you can have a cream soda, and you're like, but it's why would I have a cream soda?
Why did you put cream in a bottle?
Right.
And not refrigerate it?
Also, good point. Also, why is you would have the cream soda when the root beer was gone? Because the root beer is so superior to cream soda. We've talked about this. I think we've talked about it in the past about how crazy it is how soda has become so like a thing people consume multiple a day. When even in my childhood, my dad's childhood, you would go to the soda shop. Like the fountain.
That would be your dessert. Your bubble tea was a dessert. A soda.
It was a milkshake. A soda was a milkshake. And when you think about it, a soda is so sweet, especially just like a pure Coke or root beer or Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it's a
You're like,
sugar
this
syrup.
is so sugary and so sweet. And now we're like, I'll have 72 gallons at this movie. Thank you. On my way.
I better get some M&Ms.
Bucket of soda.
Bucket of soda,
the
please.
whole fountain.
Yeah. Do you have it in vat size? I would like to swim in it and be transformed like the Joker. That's how big I would like it to be. That would be the sufficient size of my Dr. Pepper.
In it.
Yeah, I know. Well, he drove her crazy, but she had a little crazy in her too.
Yeah.
You can't be a psychiatrist and fall in love with the inmate who you're supposed to be helping. I'm sorry, Harlequin, but it's a little on you. It's a little on you. Are you a victim? Yes, absolutely. Also, don't fall in love with the Joker. Also, Joker was pretty charming. This is primarily what we're here to talk to about today.
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We got lots to talk to you guys about. We're going to talk about hanging out with Brian Regan, because that's fun. We're going to talk about some dopamine and some ADD stuff. We have Mel's article. We got a Mel article. It's been a minute. It's good. Ironically, it's going to be about dopamine. She's going to start reading. I'm going to lose all of mine. You guys are going to watch me fall asleep. If you're on YouTube, watch me just glaze over like a Krispy Kreme donut and ready to serve hot sign is on and I am asleep. We're going to talk a little bit about teenagers being too casual. We're going to talk about youth sports. We have a new one in our life, volleyball, and then we're going to be done. Great. And then we're going to get out of here. It's going to be, we're going to do about a 19-minute episode today.
Okay.
No, that's not. For context, because we don't like to lie to you. I don't like to lie to you. Melissa likes to lie to you. Melissa likes to put a cold coffee in a mug, but I'm straightforward with you. Remember, I'm the truth teller on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday, March 7th. March 7th.
Yeah.
I don't know when this episode is going to come out. I really don't. It could be April. It could be later this month. It could be May. It could be tomorrow from now. I don't know.
Yesterday.
It could be yesterday. It could be a lot of those things. But we are recording 4 episodes this week. Not today. 4 episodes this week. We hired Andy, and we're like, buckle up, buddy. Here we go. 4 in a week. Mom and Dad got a lot of travel. I got a special coming out March 28th. That might have already came out. I don't know. I don't know when this came out. I hope it's going good if it's out.
Is it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope my appearances on a couple of big podcasts went well, and I hope the special's going good. I hope I'm not reading the mean comments, and I'm just embracing the good ones.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna hyperventilate because I'm not nervous. It's very good. It's not that good. I don't know. Oh gosh. Watching your special. You know what that happened last week is I watched my special, and then that was it was its final edit through. Andy watched it too, and Andy said some nice things. Andy's seen it. And he heard it.
Great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Andy helped clean up some audio stuff. And it was a real collaborative effort. And Alec, the director, did a great job. But it was his first project of sorts. And then later was the Chris Rock thing. And I was like, uh-oh. Shouldn't watch these on the same day. I shouldn't have watched the greatest comedian ever go live.
Second special.
And my second special that was filmed by a guy that lives in a van. And was releasing on my YouTube channel, and his is live on Netflix. But that being said, actually, I didn't feel that inferior watching it. I actually watched it. I was like, I think I'm better at comedy than Chris Rock. And let it be known that that's my true, heartfelt, 1,000% I believe it opinion, that I am better now than that he ever was. Runs in the Family is the new bigger and blacker of the clean comedy scene.
Oh, boy. That's just how you advertise it.
Yeah. Bigger and blacker for white dads. Whiter and whiter. Whiter and whiter. Whiter would have been so good.
Hey, keep that one in mind.
You both missed jokes.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. There's a fun outtake at the end of that one about how me missing a joke. I have a joke in there that I literally am supposed to list 3 things. And the second one was like, what? Where'd that go? Just a pure gone. I don't think I've ever so blatantly forgot a joke before, which is great.
In the middle of your second
show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got lots to cover, everybody. Speaking of shows and second shows, the halfway tour rolls out and rolls out. Halfway there. The Halfway There tour. Kicking off May 19th and 20th in Ogden, Utah. 23rd, Brea. 26th and 27th, Des Moines, Iowa. Then we're into June. 13th, 14th, 15th, Chicago/Rosemont. They're both of those cities. 16th and 17th, San Diego. 18th, LA. 21st, Orlando. 22nd, Tampa. The 24th in Boston is sold out, so we added the 25th. The 28th, Charlotte. The 29th, Raleigh. July 1st, North Charleston. 6th through 9th, Tacoma, Washington. 12th, Liberty, Ohio. 13th, Columbus, Ohio. 14th through 16th, Pittsburgh. 21st through 22nd, Nashville. 28th, Atlanta. August 2nd, San Jose. 10th through 11th, Sacramento. 23rd, Omaha. 24th, Milwaukee. 25th, Minneapolis. 26th, Tulsa. 27th, Addison/Dallas. 1st and 2nd of September, Houston. That's 3 shows. And then September 3rd, Oklahoma City. That's not the end of the tour. I just take a little break, and then I kick back up in December at Cleveland. Even by the time this airs, I might have a couple more on sale. We'll see. San Antonio coming, Austin coming, lots of stuff. We're going to try and add Grand Rapids. I don't know. It's a big world out there, everybody. And yeah. Oh, and also, if you would like to do like a VIP meet and greet at any of those shows, that's possible through a thing called Patreon. If you're not familiar with Patreon, guys, it's a way that you can give a little more to the podcast and dust all things Dustin Nickerson comedy and get a little more, including at a certain level that I don't remember off the top of my head, meet and greets at shows where we hang out pre-show. You come back to the green room, we'll shake a hand, a kiss a baby. Don't bring your babies to those shows unless they're still in womb. And then I will bless your baby. I've taken several pregnant blessed baby photos where I put that hand on there and we smile. Always with consent, always with permission. Also, tell me you're pregnant. Don't make me ask. Don't make me ask if you are pregnant. Or if you would like me to bless your baby, I don't care.
Come forward with that.
Yeah. I don't care if you look like a snake that swallowed a VW bug, and it's that obvious that you're pregnant. I'm not asking. I'm not. I don't care if you're crowning. I'm still not going to ask if you're pregnant. I don't care if I can hear the cries of that baby exiting. I don't care if your feet are in the stirrups and you're in a gown. I am not. I don't care if it's halfway out and you've named it. I'm not asking if you are pregnant.
That's why it's halfway there to it.
So anyways, everyone check out our Patreon.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
We did just announce on Patreon that a certain tier and up, it's $10 a month and up, gets to be on our monthly Zoom hang.
Which is on March 28th, right?
We just announced to the Patreon.
Which might have happened already. I don't know. This is a weird episode to not know when it's happening.
So we do a monthly Zoom hang. We are going to do a Patreon Zoom hang on the day the special releases that may or may have already happened.
We had our biggest Patreon Zoom hang last month, and it was really funny. One of our most regular, great patrons, Avril, I'm so sorry. Avril, who's been coming, I think is an OG patron. I think maybe
We've
that first
seen her
month.
through a move.
That's true. Yeah, we moved you from Denver to Salt Lake.
Yeah. So
and
some of these originals are, early adopters.
Yeah. We hop in and we know Isaac's in the Coast Guard and we ask him how Hawaii is that day because we've been, and we popped in and there was a lot of faces and Avril's eyes got wide like, oh my gosh, why are all these people here? Which was fun and also kind of hurt my feelings because she's like, I didn't know he was going to get more fans. But
we surprised Avril with our growth.
Avril's, just great. It feels really good when you buy in early on a band and or entertainer or artist of any type, and then they get some mainstream success, and then they start winning Grammys, and people are like, Brandi Carlile's my favorite. And you're like, shut up. No, she's not. Where were you, huh? Where were you for Mainstream Kid, which is my favorite Brandi Carlile song?
So... just the fans get better? Is that?
Andy's very qualified to speak to this. It is a really interesting thing. This was, I actually think this is, its roots were in the punk rock movement. I think that more people have, the whole idea of, that's not true. I guess it's been around a lot, but it was so integral to the heart of the punk rock scene, which is the idea of being a sellout, which is when you went mainstream, Green Day is the example to me because Green Day was an absolute like punk rock underground band, and then Dookie hit. And then for the next 30 years, they're one of the biggest rock bands in history. When we were talking about artists that could play stadiums, I mean, Green Day is going to come into any city and sell out the stadium. And there was backlash. And they're like, no, but Bad Religion's still cool. And then Bad Religion got a hit.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is something to that, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's what we've talked about is when other people start liking it, it becomes a little less cool. It's like not your thing. What do you think?
Well, I think music and what entertains you from a personal and communal perspective, you feel like you're a part of it. And then if someone else comes in sometimes oh, is there room for you? I wanted to maintain that intimacy.
Right.
I saw Mars Volta's first show, that was unannounced under their old band, and it was so that's special. But it's
that is some pretentious music
oh,
right there.
Oh yeah, it is.
You mean 30 Seconds to Mars? That one? Is that which Mars? A lot of Joker references is already.
Yeah, right.
Jared Leto's the lead singer of that band.
But that's not the band I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about...
It's a different... Mars Volta is so full of itself. Not its not the band. It's listeners.
Yes.
If somebody says Mars Volta is their favorite band, walk away. You're not going to enjoy another single moment. It's like when someone says, hey, what's your favorite movie? It's like, it's a French film. Die. Die. Walk away. I'm not saying you die. The death to this friendship is over. That's not your favorite movie.
This conversation's over.
This conversation
is this how
is over.
you feel when you go in comic book stores? and get like the greatest hits or the
Yes,
best sellers.
that is it.
Yeah,
That's
it's another
very
good example
it's-
too.
yeah.
I think comics can fall in that same
Well,
thing.
because what happens is you're right. Music and entertainment and fandom in general, I think with the sports is not this way, but the artists, entertainers, you want to like the band, but you also want to like the fans. And then sometimes when we saw Florence, this is a good example. We saw Florence and the Machine our last time here.
Yeah.
The girl next to us knew like maybe 2 songs. You know, she's
on
like,
her
play
phone.
Dog Days. You're like, I'm like, no, don't play Dog Days.
They left really early.
Yeah. And you're like, but Florence has a lot of radio hits. So they're going to have fans like that. So it happens sometimes when you get mainstream and bigger that you have less committed casual fans.
So they can't get as close to it because it's so big.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing you'll
So you're
always
like
have.
kind of possessive.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
Like,
Yeah.
no, and like, I mean, granted, like, I'm just saying, like, Mars Volta isn't my favorite band, but it was like, looking at what happened after the fact was just like, oh my God. And I was a huge
Right.
At the Drive-In fan.
Right.
So that's what, so then
Oh, yeah,
seeing
yeah.
that was just like unreal.
Right.
So that's a really special thing where I'm like, there was 30 people in that room.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's where it's like, anyone who's like, oh, I love Mars Volta. It's like, no,
Right.
you can't touch
Yeah.
what I have. And that's cool for me.
You'll always have
Right.
that experience.
Exactly,
Yeah, and
right?
that memory.
Yeah.
But I totally understand, though, how that translates into younger people with a younger mindset.
Yeah.
You know, who are going to be like, oh, no, I knew them when they were cool. Or I knew this. Like, you don't know what I know. And
In the year 2004, I was a sophomore. I was a junior in college. And Mike Birbiglia came to town. Mike Birbiglia was pretty established at
It's
that
on the
point.
college.
He was on the college
network
circuit. And
circuit.
some little fresh-faced kid was opening named John Mulaney, who did 15 Up Top. And we were in hard. It was long before I'm a comedian. I'm in college at the time. And I remember some of the jokes. This is a very, very dated joke where he goes, I want to write a suicide note, but use the font Wingdings. And that's like, I remembered that joke for 20 years.
Yeah,
But then as he got bigger, I still love John Mulaney, but it was fun to be like, have you ever heard this band? Have you ever heard of this one? Maybe that's going away as you get a little bit older. People like to do it with the restaurants too, because who you like is a reflection of you. And sometimes you stop liking a band because you don't like the people that like that band. And you're like, I would never be friends with you. So you ruined this band for me.
right. See, fortunately, Imagine Dragons ruined themselves, and I don't have to like that band for anything.
I think that's the new Nickelback. I think Imagine
100%.
Imagine Dragons is the new.
Radioactive.
It's the new. It's the new punchline too, though. It's like like this one I can crap on.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they're like, "Hey, we sold out another arena."
Totally.
I know. So many.
And at a certain point, you just go I know there are things in this world that I know I'm wrong about. I'm wrong about Ranch. I'm wrong about the show Friends. I'm wrong about Imagine Dragons. These are my 3.
Because the world has
The
voted.
world, they're like, we love to listen to Imagine Dragons while we watch Friends and eat ranch.
Yeah.
That's our best night. And I go, I don't like any of those 3 things. I don't really like any of the way that they feel or make me feel. But I'm wrong. I will be wrong.
You know about like weird boasting and fandom? When we used to be at this mega church in Seattle, the thing to brag about was when you joined. Which
This is the lamest story.
building
you're
the church
making
was in when you came to the church.
I'm going to vomit. Oh, gosh.
I know. It was totally like
we were here since
like a
the
little-
Earl days.
little pat on the back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We've been
like,
here.
it's just a weird subculture.
But
Class C fandom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't like
there
it
really
doesn't get
is
lower.
early adopters. There was when we saw the National at the Greek. We were there with the Kensrues actually, and he said something. He's like, "This is pretty cool." It's not. And then he referenced some small venue that they played years ago.
Sure.
He's like, "It's not that," and like 50 people cheered. And that was their moment. He did it for them, and he should.
Mm-hmm.
He should do that. He should. And all this coming back to say we are having some growth right now, and it's great. And you hope to have those moments where you go.
You look back.
You go. I remember coming to Nashville and selling out a 4 p.m. show because they would only give me a 4 p.m.er. And everyone who was at that show, it's like I actually had someone message me this week. They're like, hey, I saw you're doing the full weekend at Zany's in Nashville. That's great. Congratulations. I think it's because we sold out the 4 p.m. show. And I responded like, it is absolutely because we did that. Thank you. So you hope to have that. Now, we are not there yet in the career because I'm going to tell you, there are some of these 5-6 show weekends that Milwaukee, we got work to do, Milwaukee. But anyways, there is really something to that mindset. And Brandy, I think, is the best example we have together of like, she's winning, she wins 2 Grammys a year, I feel like, you know.
Really does, yeah.
And then you watch it. Also, they do change a little because they have a glow up, you know.
And then they're like doing compilations with like Elton John.
Yeah.
And meeting their heroes.
Yeah.
Performing with them and stuff like that, which is
it's interesting
fun.
Well, speaking of which, last week our whole family went and saw Brian Regan. It was an incredible show. Listen, I don't think that there's anybody who's comedy or comedy adjacent, particularly clean comedy adjacent, that doesn't know Brian Regan, doesn't know several Brian Regan bits. The big yellow one's the sun. Like that CD went viral before you could go viral in the sense that it just got passed around. Someone would hand you Brian Regan live and you would listen to it so many times and burn copies and he did not make a lot of money off of it, for that reason.
Our family has quoted it for years.
Yeah. You know, Grape's second favorite. They do it all the time. Yeah.
Cherry's first favorite.
Yeah. Imbecilin. You know, they do it all the time. And
I went to the moon.
Exactly. Yeah. Manslaughter. Like it's just amazing. So many. There's a million. Yeah. I saw one pop up the other day. He has this incredible bit about the difference of men and women and the communication and that.
I saw that too.
The divorce one. And how's he doing?
Golfing?
They go golfing.
Yeah,
and she's like, how's Brian doing after the divorce? And he's like, well, I don't know. It's like, didn't you golf with him? How did it not come up? How would it have come up? It's just incredible. And so we, I'm the honest, the truth teller on this podcast. Okay. We got comp tickets because we are comedians. We're in this world, baby. And I know one of his openers, Steve Rogers, who is great. And he's like, I was like, we're gonna go see him no matter what. And he's like, let me take care of the tickets. And then you guys, do you want to meet him? Like, so pre-show. We all go back. Tim, his tour manager, the opener, and his girlfriend. And he's so kind. He's so nice. He was on. Like, he was riffing a little. Yeah. He was kind to the kids. He was self-deprecating. Yeah. Super kind, super nice. The kids were into it, like the pre-show meet and greet. And it was because it's very similar when they met Leanne Morgan. So nice, just so and warm. Yeah, and it was at what was the name of the theater it was in El Cajon.
Magnolia.
The Magnolia Theater out in El Cajon, which is actually pretty nice. I think it's new. El Cajon's trying.
Yeah, it's a good theater. Well, I had a thought, but then I had another thought. We spilt 2 drinks during that show.
Yeah.
But I think what I was trying to say was this is my thought. This was Claire's first comedy show that she can remember.
Yes.
She's gone to a few and slept through a few.
Right, when she was young.
She's 9 and she was like, yeah, I'll go. Yeah. And she was like, I didn't know which one was him, you know, because they're backstage. We're like, okay, be quiet. Here he is, you know. And, but they did great. And
it was really, really fun.
They all were laughing.
I had a funny moment, too. This has never happened to me at a comedy show where someone next to me spilled my beer. Spilled? Built to spill.
It's spilled. Spelt?
I think spilled.
I don't know on that
Spilt?
I think it's ED.
What's crazy is there's...
I definitely know ED is appropriate, but spilt might also be a word.
What's crazy is there's no way we could know. No. There's no way we could... Don't look it up. You're not our Jamie. I'll never tell you to look stuff up. Maybe I might at some point in our time here together. Well, anyways, don't spilt the beans, Melissa. So the lady next to me knocked over my beer.
These cup holders were like an inch and a half.
Too shallow. I walk in. The beer was crowning out of the...
We were trying to... This is something I get anxious about. if we're in a theater and it's full, I cannot sit down fast enough.
Right.
And there's 5 of us. So we're already like stepping over people. Our seats are in the middle.
Well, and we had a pre-show meet and greet, so there was kind of like a weird timing
and I'm
thing.
Like, sit down. And then we have to scoot over one and you're still standing. And I'm like, I got to sit down.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to be in the spotlight. And then
I'm like, hey, does anyone know me here?
You're like,
Clean Comedy, San Diego.
Posing.
I mean, if there's a, hey, do you guys want me to talk? You guys want me to do a bit? Schools are closed for 13 months. Do you guys want me to start a bit? Huh?
So we're dead center in this auditorium, close to the front, and I sit down quickly with my big purse and knock over Joel's drink. Mm-hmm. It's all over me. Mm-hmm. It's all over the floor. It's all over my seat.
Going to a thing with kids is so hard. It is so hard because it's, first off, you're already just getting them there. You already had to tell them no, that they can't bring a friend, so they're already disappointed.
Gloria saw some kids she knew, and that made her so anxious.
Oh, really?
Because she's like, oh my gosh, is that my principal? Like, so she was kind of losing it too. And she's 13.
Yeah.
And so we're all just trying to sit down, and then we
so
spill
judgy too.
Spill drinks, and then your neighbor spills your beer, and then both our neighbors talked the whole show.
So the girl, the lady, the woman, she was old. She knocked over my beer, and she goes, "Oh,
they came in late."
I didn't even notice that it went down because I hadn't looked, and then she goes, "Oh, I spilled your beer. I should buy you one."
And then she goes, "I'll do it on intermission."
And I go, "I'm pretty sure there's not an intermission." And she goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, I'm so positive there's not an intermission." And she goes, "Oh, I feel bad." And I was like, "And?" This is a theater beer. I had to get a loan to get this thing. This is the most expensive beer in the history of beers. And she just didn't get it. She
also said, like, I'm not doing very well. I don't.
No. That was because she had stepped on my shoe earlier and we like made a joke about it. I was on. I was trying to get recognized. I was like, I do this too. And she just didn't. And she's like, but that was her joke. She's like, I stepped on your foot. I'm not doing well. And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, just give me $10. This was so expensive. And
then I gave her my paper towels, and then I had a wet butt at the end of the night.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. It's great. Show was incredible. All
good.
3 of our kids laughed so hard the whole time. I just cannot recommend seeing Brian Regan live enough. Go see Nate Bargatze when he's in your town. These clean acts that can go play in all-age venues, which is hard to do. I have like a couple. Minneapolis, I think, might be an all-age venue. I know Boston is. There's a couple shows that I do that are like 13 and up. I just cannot recommend seeing clean comedy with your kids enough, and that they won't get everything, but it's a thing to do together. And then they quote it all week long. They've been quoting the bits. Mm-hmm. They've been wanting to talk about it. It's just so fun. It's very, and Gloria did see some friends there.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I also recommend that you get to meet them pre-show and take
So just like be a comic and then have a lot of contacts and then set that up.
Just listen. It's only taken me almost 11 years.
Yeah.
And a moderately successful career in this industry. But
it was a treat.
The show is so good. He's still so masterful. Again, just to be that good, that relevant, that funny. Yeah. It's so good.
He came out. Can I tell one joke?
Try,
Well, not tell it, but he came out and he's like, it's a really hard time to have a lot of documents in your garage.
Yeah, classified documents in your garage. Yeah. What's funny about that joke to me is how you guys have been repeating it and you've been mistelling it every single time.
I knew I wasn't going to get it right.
The joke was something along the lines of like, I went through my garage. I was going there. You know what I found the other day? Some classified documents. That was the joke. So you've literally inverted the punchline. Like you've.
I didn't say I was kidding.
But this is. I told this to Taylor. I go, we get so caught up in like new material and make sure you have a totally different hour each time. And I'm like, this is not how people consume comedy. This is certainly not live.
Well, the masses, and like, I don't have that memory that you do where you can just remember.
Well, listen, if you went back and saw him again a year later and it was the exact same thing, you would laugh, but you would never see him again. As long as it's different enough, though, and he's working and he's tweaking and he's making progress, that's how you consume comedy. That's how most people consume comedy, at least. But that being said, I just cannot recommend seeing live clean comedy enough. And this isn't even really a self-plug because I'm not at the stage of my career right now where I can play a lot of all-age venues. It's mostly comedy clubs. But that's what's so great, and that's why a lot of clean comics, when they get out of clubs, they get big, because suddenly they're selling tickets of $5. Did something just break in our room here?
No, it's something kind of
creaking.
cracked.
Yeah. Oh, that's a ghost. Don't worry about that. He's fine. Also, they say never meet your heroes. After the show, the tour manager was one of the great things about Brian Regan is he still loves comedy and he still loves hanging out at comedy clubs and he likes to go to comedy clubs after the show. Yeah. And they were like, do you think we could set that up? And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, I would. There's nothing I would love to do more. So after the show, we go, I'm talking to the tour manager and I was like, I think we should go by the La Jolla Comedy Store, which this is going to be a little Dustin's Comedy Corner, a little self-indulgent I'll tell that when we got there, is a local comedy club here. And
there's two, one in LA, one in San Diego.
And the Brian, his tour manager, his girlfriend, and then a couple friends, and us, me and you, we all go to the La Jolla Comedy Store, have a couple drinks, watch some of the show, and Brian Regan could not be a kinder, more gregarious, more like he's. They say never meet your heroes. You hang out with Brian Regan, like no, do meet him. Do meet him just in case he's so much better than you could have even imagined. So generous, so supportive. It was amazing. It was a magical, it might be the best night in San Diego comedy history I've ever had because we got there and for the better part of 3 years, every Wednesday and Thursday, I would go last at the La Jolla Comedy Store. It's called the Best of San Diego Comedy Showcase. I would always go last because I could get our kids to bed. And I would go, and there would be...
Is it like 10:07 or something?
It would be after 10 every time, and I would be dead. I literally would tell them the show's over and remind them to settle up with there was no host for those. The showcase is just, it goes on and on and on, and the next comic. And I would go last because I knew if I could get it to, because that show, the people don't stay till the end. People come and go at that show. And then by the end, it's usually maybe 20, 30% of what it was. And they've seen at least 15 comics, if not 20 before you. And I was like, I know if I can get it to work here, then it's good. I know I have something if I can get to work for this tired, drunk, oversaturated crowd here. Yeah. And then Josiah, who was the bartender at the time, we kind of had like a wink, like I could go as long as I had them. So if they were with me, I would sometimes do 15, 20 minutes. And if they weren't, I would just do my 7 or 8 and say, thank you so much. And so that was fun to be there on a Thursday night. I get there and they asked if I wanted to go up, and I was like, I would be an idiot to not go up. This is just a fun night. And then Brian came in and watched the set, which is like terrifying, but also like, no, I can do this. I'm going to run some hits. Yeah. I mean, there were a couple new jokes, but half of those jokes have been on TV before. Yeah. But you're like, very few comedians won't put Brian Regan on their top 5, certainly top 10 of Mount Rushmore of comedians. It comes down to preference there. And it was great. And he was so fun and so nice. And then he bought everybody's drinks and gave a big fat tip to the bartender. Incredible. Such a fun night.
Yeah, it was fun.
5 out of 5 bingo dingos, everybody.
Yeah.
Hang out with Brian Regan if you can. Oh, it was so fun. So fun.
Dustin, he had a couple social media jokes that really got our daughter.
Yeah.
Gloria, who's 13, he had a good joke about going out to dinner and getting dressed and sitting down and not checking your Facebook updates.
And I think one of the best things about Brian Regan jokes is they won't show up in your bark alerts.
That's right. He's a clean comic. You knew I was going there.
You guys, if you're not familiar with Bark Technologies, we love them so much. I get emails from them every day.
That's right.
Because,
Being a teenager.
My kids can do some sketch stuff on their phones. I don't spy on my kids, but every once in a while, Bark will send me a little alert because their software is on our phones, and they go, hey, did you know about this? Did you want to see this? And I go, thank you, Bark. Thank you so much. And you can set it. There's different settings. You can just look at the severe ones. You can set, and it can be harmful language, a harmful website, stuff about self-harm or suicidal thoughts, stuff like that. Anything that that goes, Bark goes, hey, you might want to see this, and that's there for you.
Well, and they even have like psychologists with like conversations and prompts and stuff.
And they also send out an article every once in a while and goes, hey, did you know that this emoji means this? And you go, oh, I better stop sending that to my kid.
A lot of those. New emojis.
They're just there to help. It's just a tool. And if there's one thing parents need, it's more tools. We're tools who need tools. So that should be their new tagline. A tool for tools. Also, we have a promo code. If you guys go sign up for Bark and you guys use promo code Don't Make Me, that's all one word, no apostrophe, Don't Make Me, you're going to get 15% off the lifetime of your subscription. They also, if you don't want to install the software on the current phone, they also have the new Bark phone, which is fantastic. You can check that out directly. Again, that's promo code Don't Make Me, all one word, 15% off, free 7-day trial, and then 50% off for the lifetime of your subscription. Bark Technologies.
Keeping your kids safe online.
Speaking of online, Melissa, you read an article, and I am ready to be bored.
Listen.
I am an author who doesn't read.
Okay.
And no, it's not true. It's not true. It's just information. I'm buzzing. These 2-episode days. How do you do it, Andy? Because when I have 2 cups, I'm like, whew.
Because I drink like 4 a day, so I'm like halfway there.
Yeah, halfway there to her, baby.
Halfway there.
With a wink. A little wink from the producer.
Okay, Dustin. Well, this isn't some like mind.
Oh. You're telling me it's boring ahead of time?
I'm prefacing. Okay, it's a good title.
Come on, spill the beans. Let's go.
It's a good title. It's called, have you heard of dopamine dressing?
No. What type of dressing?
What do you think that means?
Dopamine dressing sounds like a diet Italian dressing, like something you're like, we got
healthy.
Dopamine dressing sounds like dopamine dressing sounds like what you would call like if you squished up your medicine into a salad dressing. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking like a tired turkey.
Oh, a tired turkey. That's better. Or like
That needs some Thanksgiving fixins.
What are you, my mother-in-law? Call back to, might have been a month ago. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it doesn't get that much better. But
that's just the title?
Dopamine dressing is choosing to wear happy clothes.
Oh, I do. Oh, clothes.
Yes.
I've done this.
Yes.
I've dopamine dressed before.
The psychology behind it is that you're going to be more confident and happy if you wear something that you enjoy.
And sometimes I just put on yellow. Yellow is a dopamine dressing color. It's a statement. You're like, look at me, huh?
Stand out a bit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I 100% have done that. Not only have I done this, I've bought happy clothes when I'm feeling sad. This is an old comedy story where we were on the road in Laughlin. Bad comedy city. The way
you mean on the way to Vegas? Past Vegas.
From Arizona. The way that the state of Nevada works is each way you can get into that city, there's a border city on the freeway that's not Vegas. It's just the first place you can gamble. Mm-hmm. So there's Prim coming from California.
Yeah.
And there is Laughlin coming from Arizona. Now, Laughlin also has like rivers and some jet ski people do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it is not nice. It's kind of like downtown Reno.
It's
You're
like a casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sad.
Not a nice casino.
Because I was opening, and these casino opening gigs, you have to do 30 cold. You're lucky if you get an introduction. Mark Christopher Lawrence taught me years ago, he's like, you write a host set for yourself. You host for the first 5 minutes of your set, and then you get into your material.
Pro.
Yeah, MCL is a real pro.
Was that when you just had no one in the room, and
a lot of them were open? The room was open to the casino,
mm-hmm.
and
they're just like, hey, come to this comedy show and then go gamble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my friend Taylor Tomlinson was on TV I saw a commercial of her when she first did Last Comic Standing, and it was Norm Macdonald saying how much he loves her. And she made us like a finalist on Last Comic Standing. And I went across the street to the Levi's outlet store, and I bought a white colored shirt that had sunglasses on it to cheer me up. Because I was down.
The Levi's outlet.
The Levi's
There's
outlet.
an outlet mall there.
There's an outlet mall there. There's always an outlet mall there. And that was dopamine dressing. That was just like, I need to feel happy. And it wasn't strong enough to get me through the gig. The gig still sucked, but it was strong enough to get me through the day.
It helped.
Oh.
So, I don't know. That's just like a new...
Yeah, I like dopamine dressing.
Word.
I actually think I dopamine dress a little for this pod because you get like a little like, I dress from the top down on these. I'm like, what hat do I have that'll match with a shirt?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be like, a Sub Pop shirt, cracking hat. You're like, all right, Seattle, cool it. You can't come on too strong. You can't do two Seattles. You got to do Elton John and weird shaped Pennzoil hat.
Pare the Seattles down a bit.
You gotta, cool it. You gotta come in a little low energy like Seattle itself. But that's good to know. I like dopamine dressing.
So there you are. You're actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then this is correlated. I recently learned because my bestie is a hairdresser, and she has
Shout out Laura.
She has ADD too.
Yeah.
I recently learned that people with ADD buy clothes by feeling them. And the reason I know this, I don't have ADD, but I know this because that's how she can't online shop. She's like, I have to go touch it because if I don't like the way it feels, I won't wear it.
Right.
And I know that.
Is that not most people?
No.
No?
It's definitely highly sensitive people.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, but I'm not ADD.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't not.
Oh, you're a sensitive little guy. I like that. I didn't mean to say little. I'm sorry.
But I am. But it's okay. That's just descriptive.
I'm not big either. I'm not super. I looked up Cillian Murphy, the guy Peaky Blinders, the other day because they have the. He's like a he's supposed to be real BA, he's Thomas Shelby, he's a gangster, and the opening song is along with a tall handsome man with a red right. That song. It's that's like they call him the tall handsome man with a something and a red right hand. I was like, hey, he's tall. He's 5'10". He's not even that tall. Hollywood, baby. That's barely taller than me.
That's like Tom Hanks. He's short.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, you're right.
Tom Cruise is tiny.
My bad. Yeah.
But anyways, continue.
Okay, so I didn't know that, and Claire will pick. She's ADD. Like she has like, this is my sweatshirt.
Right.
And it's like soft, and I like the way it feels, and that's why I wear it. And what I recently learned is that, remember when we were in New York a year ago, and you hated the dress I bought? And
oh gosh, I hated that dress.
You hated it.
Yeah.
We went to see
The Music Man.
The Music Man on Broadway. You hated my dress.
Shout out free comp tickets. I'm sorry, guys. Every job has perks.
And I was like, why? Like, this is a good brand, and et cetera. But I had to pick it out in a rush. You weren't there. And then you were like, it feels like a nightgown or like an old woman nightgown.
Yeah.
You didn't like
I can remember how it feels. Yeah.
You didn't.
It felt like when you were.
It had like a sheer.
It felt like when you were at like your. Like a grandparent's house, and they're like, "We have this blanket that has all the holes in it." You can
like
sleep with that.
Like a doily. It felt like a doily. It was a doily.
I was thinking like some sheer curtains.
No. It was really awful.
Well,
in my defense, two things at play there. One, we were on vacation. I was pretty touchy. I was grabbing you a lot. And two, in addition to it having a weird texture, it also was ugly. It is not a nice dress. But
to pick it out
that's
alone.
Proof that
March in New York is a tricky time. I don't know how to dress for that.
No, but here's the thing: you are at your best style-wise when you're making your own decisions and not being like, "This is a good clothing brand and this is a dress that people like, and you're making independent decisions. You're like, I don't care what brand this is. Let me finish. Let me finish. I don't care what brand this is. I don't care how much this was. I don't care if other people like this. You grabbed a dress on a fashion-y type website, like of a brand that people like, because you were like in a hurry to find something. And when you're making independent fashion decisions, you're like, this is Old Navy and I'm rocking the heck out of it. That's when or thrift or vintage. Like I'm saying you have much better fashion taste than grab this off a website.
Well, thanks.
As a husband move right there, FYI.
Well,
take notes, husbands. Did you see how I complimented her bad dress? Did you see?
Well, the funny thing to me was that a person with ADD would like hate something their spouse is wearing because of the feel and texture.
Right.
And that's new to me. Like, you are picky about blankets, pillows on the couch.
Soft, baby.
Chairs, sofas, like.
Yeah.
And that stuff doesn't do anything for me.
In fourth grade.
If it looks cool, I like it.
In fourth grade, I wore the same pair of sweatpants probably 80% of school days that I would put in the dryer and then put on. And I wore and the only reason that I stopped wearing them is because I got to the age where boys have to stop wearing sweatpants. You're like, all right, throw on some denim. something
the stiffest denim you can find.
Yeah. Find something with a little less flex.
Were they white too?
They were blue. They were royal blue. That's interesting.
No, it's just that whole thing is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because now it's one thing to be like, hey, here's a mirror selfie. Do you like this?
Yeah.
But
it's good stuff.
You have to go further.
Yeah.
You have to touch it.
Yeah.
So
you do.
It's interesting.
If it would have been like this is a segue, but if it would have been like a sporting tournament weekend, you can wear whatever you want. We're sleeping 5 to a room with 2 beds or whatever. I'm like, you and I are just business partners out here.
Yeah.
It did.
Do you want to do the coffee run or like get the kids ready?
We were taking more pictures together. We were cuddling. We were going out to things. We were hugging. There was, it was an outing. We were in New York, but okay. Speaking of which, Melissa and I, it took us 11 years, but we have hit pinnacle Southern California parents, and that we now have Orange County sporting events, tournaments,
travel tournaments,
invites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason, if you do not know this, and I know Andy does, the reason that Orange County exists is for travel sports. That's why that place exists.
All those fields.
It has all the other
hotels.
stuff. It has the OC. It has the high-end money. It has what's the big mall? The Irvine one?
Irvine Spectrum.
Which is incredible. It has it. The real reason it exists is to host soccer tournaments. It exists to host soccer tournaments. Oh, and theme parks, which kind of go hand in hand. That's why they do a lot of them there.
Yeah.
If you want to, and if you're poor, you do them in Antelope Valley.
Well, if you're more inland, or
I know. I'm just
north.
kidding. I'll take any shot I can at the Antelope Valley. I published how much I hate Lancaster, California, but I went to Joel, had an invite there.
Yeah,
and it was crazy because
they had PDF on where you could park.
Yeah,
and it's $20.
And you know this because you have more roots here. We as high school athletes and you a college athlete, we were in the state of Washington, which is a medium state. When the state of California starts sporting, it's crazy. To make state in the state of it has 2 other competitors, Texas and Florida. Those are the 3. Texas, Florida and California are the sports states as far as high school sports go.
Yeah.
When you look at all the sports, there's fringe ones, but every sport great all the time. Yeah. And I remember the kid from Joel's race, he came across first place in track, and it said Beverly Hills. I'm like, Beverly Hills is here. Wow, what a flex. And then also Bakersfield, and which was where a lot of jocks come from there, because what else are you gonna do but play sports there? And now we've booked. It's for June, but I booked you by the John Wayne International Airport. The
sports hotel.
Volleyball, because now we have a new sport. We've introduced volleyball. Now, famously, Melissa did cross country in high school, because she didn't make the volleyball team because she missed tryouts.
Yes,
but you found your true calling. You know,
I did.
When God closes one door, He opens a.
It's very sad for little Mel.
He opens a 3-mile one. But now we have Gloria doing volleyball, which is great. It's fun. It's fun to get a new sport.
It took us a while to find her new thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of practices. And trying stuff out.
We don't know the SoCal high school world. Her in fall they have volleyball, and in spring they have beach volleyball. Yeah, they have a sand court.
Yeah, they have like 3.
That's crazy.
They call it sand. They're like, they're doing sand.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. Like kinetic sand.
They have boys too.
Do they really?
Yep.
Just a full-on Top Gun scene out there. Just jeans.
Yeah. It's Top Gun volleyball.
Here's what I like about volleyball is that why I'm excited about it is a sport that you and I will both know how to cheer and both know what's happening at any given time. Because though neither of us played volleyball is a very simple, easy to understand sport. You didn't get baseball. You didn't get a lot of the dynamics that were going on.
No.
But you know track.
Baseball is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, well, baseball is terrifying because when your kid's up, you're like, oh, just my kid is up. And if he fails, everyone is going to see this.
I just paced.
You know nothing about football. You didn't understand too much going on and why he was in or wasn't in and what was happening on the plane. Well, hold on. I want to tell the wrestling story in a second. And then
canoeing.
But the canoeing was like... I was like, do they win or lose? How do you? Or like Claire is in Taekwondo right now, and she's doing the grappling, and I don't know what's winning or losing. I don't know how the points work.
Yeah,
it's very confusing to me. We haven't had one that I think we'll both understand so clearly because volleyball was so obvious, and it's still a team thing.
Yeah, Claire did. We have had some drama. We've done some plays.
Right. But on the sports realm.
Okay.
Yeah, don't sidetrack us, Nickerson. Soccer would be the closest. Soccer, you know what's happening. Yeah. Soccer. But what was so funny, and this is really a story, is you cheering at wrestling was so funny to me because if you don't know wrestling, you don't know how to cheer, and you don't really know what to be like. Shoot, Joel, keep going, arm bar.
That's 1 point.
1 point, 2 points, yeah. And one of my favorite things that you would cheer. And I think it was all the time.
I would video.
Joel would be like getting pinned.
Yeah.
And you'd go, keep going, Joel. Yeah, Joel, go! And you're like, you're not. If you're gonna say anything right now, you're gonna be like, bridge, push, escape. Like you have to kind of give him like there's very specific.
Give me like a little cheat sheet.
I need to give you a cheat sheet. You need to have a wristband like quarterbacks have of the things to say.
Okay. Getting pinned. Okay.
So. Yeah, but in volleyball, you don't have to hear any of that. You just know like spike it. You don't have to say anything. It's just yes, no. I guess it's kind of like basketball in that way.
So this is really funny. Had a little parent meeting. Not many parents showed up. The coach goes like, hey, if you're worried about playing time, if you're upset at me about playing time, give it 24 hours and then email me.
Yeah.
Or speak to me in person. Don't just come up to me after the game. And I was like, that's great life advice.
Yeah,
right
that's helpful in general. Yeah, it's so good. Just take a lap.
Give it a day.
He's having an emotional lap, which is pretty funny. Just, go breathe this one out. I like that a lot.
She seems like a great coach. So
I'm so excited for us to have volleyball. And since she has ADD, for it to be her entire world for 4 months.
Before she quits.
Speaking of quitting, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. Have a great week.
All right, bye.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. We want to give a special shout out to our Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up patrons. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Adam Bush,
Averill Griffiths,
Bonnie Galindo,
Carrie T,
Code to Grow,
Courtney Eibling,
Demarius Diaz-Stevens,
Dave and Melissa Cox,
Dave Hoagland,
Farrah Journey,
Isaac Teron,
Jennifer Ashley Downs,
Jessica Sewell,
Jordan Cowan,
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos,
Nathan and Jennifer Merritt,
Nicole Caros,
Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy,
Robert and Nellie Capin,
Tiffany Payne,
Trey Turner, and
Jason
Jason White. Jason, you got both of us on that last one. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to us.
Thank you.